Well, hi, everybody. My name is Marcia Thompson. I am a civil rights attorney, actually licensed in Virginia, but currently reside in Chicago. I'm the vice president for a firm that does police reform in Chicago called Hiller Heinz. And I'm delighted to be working in Virginia, and particularly in Arlington County, to do the assessment as well as work with the PPG to look at some other areas. We are looking at 6 big policy areas for the police department. And I'm going to just highlight those areas and then talk a little bit about the process. So one area is going to look at use of force. And in that sub area, we're going to be looking at de-escalation, lethal and non-lethal force, and foot and vehicle pursuits. We're also going to be looking at training and supervision. So that basically the training from when they come to the academy, any type of in-service training the officers are getting, and then a specific emphasis on implicit bias and crisis intervention training. We're going to be looking at technology, particularly body-worn cameras, vehicle dash cameras, and then policies around how those are used and when that equipment is to be used by the officers. We're going to also be looking at retention and recruitment. So how are we bringing folks in? What type of screening mechanisms are being used? If they're using a psychological, what that is. Looking at overall wellness for officers, mental health. Also internal evaluations as they move up, promotion, succession planning, leadership development, the pay and benefits, and pretty much everything from, again, start to finish when the officer would leave the department. We're going to be looking at internal affairs, which would include looking at how complaints are filed, how they are structured. We're going to be looking at about 3 years of back data of that, doing random sampling. We'll also be looking at internal as well as external grievance processes. We're going to be doing some surveys as well to get some candid feedback. So there'll be anonymous climate surveys. So we can hear if that process seems to be working fairly. And we're talking about internal as well as external to the department as far as internal affairs. And then we're also going to be looking at some statistical information. We've particularly asked for traffic stops and basically interactions with the public as far as stops. And so that data will go back for at least 3 years as well. And the purpose of that data is to look at consistency and see if there are any trends or any aberrations in that data or anything like that. That will be a statistical variable. So that's what we're the big assessment. And again, this is not an overall department assessment. It is only those 6 areas, which again is a lot to look at, but it is not a top to bottom review, which is something that I've often done, but this is not that. This is just those 6 policy areas. So that's what we're going to be doing, Mark.